Algebra Word Problems number 37C. Write, solve 3 equations for mixtures. Solve for x, for y, and for z. Here's our word problem. How many liters each of 8%, 10%, and 20% hydrogen peroxide should be mixed together to get 8 liters of 12.5% solution if the amount of 8% solution used must be 2 liters more than the amount of 20% solution used? All right, so we need to pick this apart one little bit at a time to make sense of it, okay? So we're going to think there's 3 solutions, an 8%, a 10%, and a 20%, okay? So one's really weak, one's in the middle, and one's a little stronger, all right? So these solutions, an 8% hydrogen peroxide solution means it's 92% something else. And if this is a 10% hydrogen peroxide solution, that means it's 90% something else, and this one's 80% something else. So maybe they're mixed with water, who knows? But its strength is only 8%. It's only 8% hydrogen peroxide. It's 92% something else, so it's kind of a weak solution. Well, they need us to mix these 3 together in a way so that we'll get 8 liters of a 12.5% solution, kind of like in between the 8 and the 20. All right, a little stronger than that one. Now, it also told us that this 8% solution, the first percentage, is going to be 2 liters more than the 20% one, the third percentage. And we need to find a quantity of liters of each of these 3 percentages. Now, we know the total is going to be 8 liters. It says 8 liters of 12.5. So that's our final outcome. We need to come up with a way to get 12.5% solution and 8 liters of it. So this is what we do. This is how we're going to get our 3 equations. I'm going to make a table. And here's equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3, and I'm going to show you how I got them. In this first line, this is given. We have our percents. The 8% added to the 10% and to the 20%, the outcome is going to be a 12.5% solution. And the liters have to equal 8. But we don't know what they are. So this is x liters, y liters, and z liters, okay? So we have x, y, and z added together are going to equal 8. So that was given to us, all right? Now, that's equation 1. Now, equation 2, this line, we're going to create it, all right? And the way we create it is, to get equation 2, we multiply going down the percent times the quantity. So the 8% times the x, all right, and 8% written as a decimal is 0.08. So if it were just 8 times x, it would be 8x. But because it's a percentage, we need to turn it into 0.08. So that's going to become 0.08x. The 10% has to be multiplied by the y. If it was just a 10, it would be 10y. But because it's a percentage, we've got to do 0.10. That's 10%. 0.10y. And the 20%, if we multiplied it to the z, if it was just a 20, it would be 20z, but because it's a percentage, we're going to do 0.20z. See? That way we went straight down in these columns, and we created equation 2 from going down. See? Including this one, the 12.5 times 8. 12.5% is really 0.125 as a decimal. So we multiply it by the 8, and we have the 8 in parentheses. And then equation 3 was given to us. It said, so the 8% solution must be 2 liters more than the 20%. So the x has to be 2 more than z. Well, the x is equal to the z plus 2. See? The z plus 2 is the same as the x. See? Because this one is 2 more than that one. So it's a z plus 2. So that's our third equation. That was kind of given to us in the word problem, wasn't it? So now we can take these 3 equations and we can start solving them, okay? So I've got them all nice and neat in this box up here. Equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. And the first thing we're going to do is start working on equation 2 because there's a parentheses in there and some decimal points that we need to get rid of. So to remove the parentheses from equation 2, we multiply the 0.125 by 8. And we do. 0.125 times 8 comes out to 1.000. There's 3 hops in the equation, so there's 3 hops in the product. and that puts us at a 1. That means this is our new equation. Instead of the 0.125 times 8, we now have it as equaling 1. That's what it became. So this is equation 2 now, all right? Now we need to get rid of these decimal points, and the way to do it is to multiply both sides of the equal sign by 100. What that'll do is, it's going to move the decimal point from in front of the 0, boom, boom, to behind the 8. It's going to move it from in front of the 1, hop, hop, to behind the 0. It's going to move it from in front of the 2, bump, bump, to behind the 0. And then for the 1, it's going to go, it's right here, right? It's just a 1. So it's going to go hop, hop, which means we need to add some zeros. So the 1 became a 100. So now this is our new equation. Equation 2 became this. It's now 8x plus 10y plus 20z equals 100. I want you to look at this 10y right here. See that 10y? Well, he's of some big interest to us because this 10y in equation 2, remember this is equation 2, see? If we multiply both sides of equation 1 by negative 10, we'll be able to eliminate the y because equation 1 right now is just x plus y plus z equals 8. And if we take this x plus y plus z equals 8 and multiply it on both sides by negative 10, it's going to become this. Negative 10x minus negative y minus negative 10y minus 10z is going to equal negative 80. See? They're all going to become a negative 10, and that's going to become a negative 80. And because this one is a negative 10, what's going to happen is when we put it underneath this one to subtract, it's going to eliminate y. So that's why we had to look for something. I mean, we could have multiplied this whole thing by a negative 20 and gotten rid of z. We could have multiplied it by a negative 8 and gotten rid of x. But that one's the easiest one, okay? So 10's a nice round number. So this is what equation 1 has now become. And it's just temporary. We're going to go back to this later on, okay? But right now, this is temporarily equation 1. Negative 10x minus 10y minus 10z equals negative 80. And then what we're going to do is, here's equation 2. See? 8x plus 10y plus 20z. Here it is. Equals 100. So that's equation 2. We're going to put this equation 1, this version of equation 1, underneath it, and we're going to subtract. And look what happens. Because we multiplied this by negative 10 on both sides of the equal sign, we have a plus 10 and a minus 10, and we've now created a 0 pair. So now we've gotten rid of the y. We've eliminated the y. Well, 8x minus 10x, well, that's kind of big, so it makes the 8 go into the negatives. It's negative 2x. 20, take away 10, is 10, so now we've got 10z. We've got minus 2x plus 10z, and 100 take away 80 is 20. So now we've got this. Minus 2x plus 10z equals 20. Minus 2x plus 10z equals 20. So now what we're going to do is, we're going to substitute equation 3 into this one. Do you remember equation 3? That 2 plus z equals x? So instead of x, we're going to put a 2 plus z there. See? It took its place. We plugged it in. But we need to do some distribution here, don't we? To open these parentheses up, right? So now we need to multiply the negative 2 by the 2 and the negative 2 times the z. Well, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. And negative 2 times z is negative 2z. So now we've got negative 4 minus 2z plus 10z equals 20. So we can combine these like terms of these z's, can't we? Minus 2z plus a 10z brings us back up out of the negatives to a positive 8. So now it's become negative 4 plus 8z equals 20. Well, we know what to do when we see this. We want to get z by itself. We can add 4 to each side, and we'll eliminate this, won't we? So now we drop down the 8z. 20 plus 4 is 24. And to get this z by itself, the inverse of 8 times z, 8 times whatever the z stands for is multiplication. The inverse of it is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. That's going to make this turn into a 1. because the numerator and denominator are the same. We don't put a 1 in front of our variables, do we? We can see there's one variable there. So now 24 divided by 8 is 3. We drop the z down. We see z is equal to 3. Now, equation 3 says 2 plus z equals x. And if z is 3, that means 2 plus 3 equals 5. We know x is 5. Now we know z and x. But wait a minute. X, y, and z are supposed to equal 8. And z is 3 and x is 5. That equals 8. So guess what? Y is 0. If x and z equals 8, then we don't need the y, do we? Y is 0. So now we know. The z is 3 liters. The y is 0 liters. And the x is 2 liters. I'm sorry, it's 5 liters. I'm not thinking here. Because it's 2 more than that one, right? So yeah, it's 5. All right, so we got 5 liters, 0 liters, 3 liters, and it totals the 8 liters. And now we've solved the whole thing. See? Do you understand how I got the equations? We had 3 things given to us. And for equation 2, I just came down 8 times x, 10 times y, 20 times z, 12.5% times 8. And then I rewrote them as decimals. See? We did step 1 by removing the parentheses. Step 2, we multiplied both sides of the second equation by 100 to get rid of the decimal points. We found a coefficient and a variable that would be easy to multiply equation 1 by as a negative to eliminate one of the variables. So we chose y. We got rid of it when we subtracted. Then when we had our answer to our subtraction problem, we plugged in equation 3 into it. We combined like terms. We did some inverse operations to simplify it. And we found out that z was 3. And because z was 3, it meant that x had to be 5. And that means that y had to be 0. And we have our answer to our solutions and how many liters we need. I hope this was helpful. It's going to be the last of my mixture problems. If anyone ever has any problems, you could message me, and I'm not against making a personal video. I'll make a video for you if there's something you need. You're just going to have to spell it out for me. If you have a particular problem, and you can explain the problem into the comment section, I will make you a video for it if you need, okay? So, I'll see you next time, and keep your chin up, keep trying. It's not as hard as it looks. It's like climbing a mountain, one step at a time, and you're up the mountain, okay? Good luck. Bye.